Okay. Hi. This is a tutorial on how to get the Switch PowerA controller connected to Unity. If you're like me, you like the GameCube controller because it's nice and compact and has a nice shape to it. And so the PowerA controller for the Switch is like just the perfect controller for dev testing, because you can put this in like your laptop bag and have it not take up as much space as like a PS4 controller or something. So this is nice. But you've probably run into problems trying to get this connected to Unity because either Unity doesn't really know what this is, because it has a dedicated Switch controls method but doesn't have it, or these are just not technically Switch Pro controllers, so who knows. But after 4 weeks of banging my head against the wall, I think I've run into every single problem someone might run into, and I'm going to tell you how to get around them. So let's start from the beginning. How to get this connected to the PC in the first place. When you connect this to the PC using Bluetooth, hopefully, assuming your computer has Bluetooth, if not, double check that it can do that, it will try and download its own drivers and set it up, and it should set up as some wireless gamepad. If it doesn't, you're stuck there, but hopefully this video, it might help you catch something that you missed. So first thing we need to do is we need to come down to our Bluetooth section. You can either just go here and type in Bluetooth. It should pop up immediately, like that or something. And then once you're here, go to Add Bluetooth or Other Devices, start searching, and as it starts searching, go ahead and press this top button and hold on your GameCube controller until this starts to blink. And over here, it should pop up this Lick Pro controller for Bluetooth connection. And then once you do, hopefully it should come down here as a Lick Pro controller. If you see this, you're in a good spot. But there is a genuine chance this might not happen. So if this doesn't show up, then go ahead and disconnect the controller. To be clear, by disconnect, I mean remove the device and do the process over again a couple of times. Eventually, it should start setting up the controller for you. Once it's done, it'll disappear from there and pop up here as a mouse, keyboard, or a pen. If it does that, you're in good hands. You passed the first step. So now that we're at this step, whatever, let's go ahead and set up an input actions, because if you made it this far but you still run into problems, I think I know where you're at. So with the new Unity input system, let's set up a input actions, call it whatever you want, say GameCube controller. We'll just stick with cup, whatever. So I restarted this part of the video because I made a small mistake, and I want to make sure that no one gets confused. So I'm going to go over from the beginning again. At this step, once we start and open our GameCube controller input actions, you might have run into the same problems as I did. So we're going to set up a player, and we're going to set up let's call this the left stick, and we're going to try vector 2. So let's set this to value, so this is vector 2. And if we are to add a binding, I'm not sure why I did 2 there, this would be my mouse screwing up. Once we listen, it should be able to notice that there's a left stick there. Great. That works just fine. But if you're like me, the next problem we ran into is the right stick. Because no matter what we did, if we were to recreate this setup for the right stick, yes, that works, and made sure that that's a value with the vector 2, the moment we tried looking for it, nothing happens at all. We can press buttons, anything, no matter what, we can mess with this. This pops up as a hat switch, but this does not. This was the next step that I banged my head against the wall for nearly 3 weeks, because I could not figure out why it was not reading this stick over here. After some time, I have figured it out, and what's going on is if we were to go to the USB controller settings of Windows, you'll notice on the left side is this stick. On the right side, though, is not a stick and 2 axes, but instead just quite literally 2 separate floats, X rotation and Y rotation. So when Unity is reading this wireless gamepad, it sees these 2 and just glosses over them, thinking that, oh, well, whatever these are not what we're looking for. We're looking for the right stick. So when you try looking for a vector 2 with the right stick, it can't find that. The only vector 2 that possibly exists is this left stick over here and this hat switch D-pad. So how do we get around this problem? Well, since we know that this stick over here is just giving us two separate floats, instead of looking for a vector 2, we can instead look for just a vector 1. So if we were to, let's get rid of this right here. Let's right click here and just look for a 1D vector composite. This will look for a single one-dimensional vector. So just, you know, one range of values. And if we were to look for the path and listen, these show up immediately. That's stick. That's what we're looking for. So we now need to find a way to combine this, you know, ry and rx into a single vector 2. How do we do this? So if you're like me, again, you tried figuring out how to read these values and ran into troubles trying to get it to, you know, come out with something. Here's what you have to do. Let's get rid of this right here. What you want to use is the 2D vector composite tool. This is how typically it reads the WASDA, you know, because it turns that up, down, left, right into a fake axis for Unity to use. Not fake, people get mad at me for saying that, but you get what I'm trying to say, shut up. And then, very importantly, you have to change this from digital normalized, the 2D vector, to analog. Here's why. When it's reading this stick over here, what digital normalized does is turn it into a value from 0 to 1. Because again, it is expecting to read a WASDA, which means just values that are just 0 and 1, that's it. That's not what you want to pass into the 2D vector composite. We want to pass this range of values over here. So by changing it to analog, it undoes the, the binary input and allows it to be passed as just, the values I'm looking for. So set up a 2D vector composite, set the mode to analog, and then get rid of each of these axes directions. We already have an entire set of values in one direction. We don't need more. So on the up axis, we can now add in our ry, and on the bottom axis, we can now add in our rx. And because these are both on the analog mode, it will read between 1 and -1. Let's test to make sure this works. So let's save this asset. I set up a little test-proof controls thing right here so that we can make a fake, kind of a fake controller on the spot. Like a total dummy, I forgot that I have to also generate a C# class. So let's go and quickly do that. There we go. Once that's done, open up this. Oh, I don't want to open up that. I want to open up this test control script that I created. And then let's quickly create our game cub controller. We'll call it cub, whatever. Say that cub is equal to a new game cub controller, and then do controls.enable. If someone gets mad at me that this is not the right way to do it, shut up. Yeah, whatever. Okay, and then let's test for our two axes. We have left stick and right stick. So let's do a debug.log to check the left stick. So debug.log, and you want us to log right stick value is, oh, I can't type. Let's add a space there. And then read our input player dot right stick. Oh no, let's do the left stick first. Vector 2. Okay. Oh, what are you mad about right now? Oh, that's what you're mad about. And then debug.log. Did I write right stick? I meant to say left stick. Oops. Sorry if I confused people there. Left stick value. Now we're looking for the right stick value. Right stick value. And then plus cub.player.rightstick.read value vector 2. All right. Let's cross our fingers. Hope this works. Let's come back here. And when we play and mess around with these sticks, it should start appearing here in the debug log. And left stick is working, and right stick is working. And that's that. I hope I have saved you a ton of trouble. I'm so happy I now get to work with this thing, because this is a travel-sized controller. So hope I managed to help somebody out. Thank you for watching.